I found a crazy bullish chart for Bitcoin, guys, where we right now knocking on the resistance, but something is just not adding up, which I want to discuss in today's video. And today, the 19th of October, is a very important day because 36 years ago, we experienced today Black Monday, and we're also going to talk about this specific event that occurred. So guys, very important video. Make sure you watch this video till the end. Make sure to leave a thumbs up, and if you are new, make sure to subscribe so we can stay connected. Now let's jump straight into the content. It's in 1987, that's exactly 36 years ago, we have seen a sudden massive crash in the regular financial markets. That was insane, and most analysts, they know about this. 1987, and they blame it sometimes on the computer that was starting to trade. Algorithmic trading was getting a little bit more popular during that time, so they blame it on the algorithms, which make a mistake, which therefore like this thing just kept on collapsing. But this was, for that time, it was really crazy, and it almost had a 25% loss almost in a single day. That was really, really crazy. And after this one, guys, that's the crazy thing. After this one, we just entered a new cycle. That was when the dot-com bubble came and the whole new technology boom. And that was kind of crazy how this basically played out. But yeah, this was definitely very, very interesting event and very unexpected and very quick and sharp drop. So we had an uptrend. Bam, 1-2 days we dropped 25%, kind of crazy, and then we just like slowly grinded up again, started this whole new business cycle, and really went into a big acceleration over the next coming years ahead here. So that was kind of crazy event. But guys, I want to share something with you because I found something in Bitcoin which literally blew my mind a little bit when I looked at this, because we are seeing right here a very big declining channel. And if we combine these lows right here and we drag the channel up, we can basically see that the middle of the channel is being respected quite heavily, but that the top of the channel is being broken or being touched right now by Bitcoin. And this was also something I've been looking for, because why? We have the stablecoin dominance that right now is in a very important place, also at a crazy support level right here, getting squeezed into this triangle formation, and most likely we'll see a breakout in the next coming weeks ahead. And if this breakout is to the downside, then that will mean that Bitcoin will break out to the upside, and that we are most likely going to see a massive, massive rally, maybe even coming along with an ETF approval, because that's the other topic I want to talk about in today's video. And that is the thing that is a little bit off, the thing that is a little bit weird in this specific situation. So we get the money to supply, which is a highly important chart for what's going on with risk on assets, right? This one is not increasing, really. Look, we just, like, if we zoom in on the most recent, this is not really an increase, right? This is almost nothing. So that is already the first warning signal. We have a warning signal that the money supply is not increasing, because that will drive an incentive to go to Bitcoin, right? Or to risk on assets like the S&P 500, which is correlated with Bitcoin mostly. Then we got the Federal Reserve balance sheet also decreasing, guys. We have a massive decrease, actually making new lows. So the last time we were at these levels was a couple of years ago, 2021. So this is also something that is not looking too bullish. So we can see right here in the year of 2020, we had this massive increase in the balance sheet. And that also resulted, 2020, in the stock market going up after the March 2020 crash right here, and Bitcoin just going into this massive rally. So we had basically the money printer going on at like, what is this, January or like March, after March 2020. So guys, in March, after March 2020, we had the money printer going on like crazy. Then the Federal Reserve is buying up a lot of assets, mostly from the stock market, which was a huge increase in the balance sheet. And that eventually resulted in the price of Bitcoin, but also the regular financial markets, to go up and to continue in an uptrend, at least to go up in US dollar terms. Because if you look at terms of buying power, if you take that money supply into consideration, the rally was not that significant, right? Also not for Bitcoin, to be honest. So that is the thing that is a little bit off right here, because if Bitcoin, and we also looked at this other chart where we can see the interest rates right here, which are crazy high, by the way, right now, interest rates. Where is that liquidity coming from to push Bitcoin to 30, 40,000 US dollars? That is the part, to be honest, guys, that I don't understand. Because if I look at this chart, I really feel like, yeah, I want to go all in. I want to put all my money back into Bitcoin, because this is looking like it wants to break out. But then I just take a step back, and then I just think like, yeah, but if we just look at other signals like the money supply, the Federal Reserve balance sheet, this one has not yet, the stablecoin dominance has not yet broken out. We have had high interest rates for the past months. This is kind of crazy. We are at similar levels at where we were before the dot-com bubble. So for me, this is a bit off, because it feels like, okay, the structure of Bitcoin starting to become more bullish. I still have to say, we still touch the resistance right here, so this can also resolve in something like this. But we touch the resistance, we have negative funding. I can see in the vibes over on Twitter that the majority of the people are bearish, or they are waiting for Bitcoin to go to lower levels. Let's just face it, right? I think a lot of people, they want to buy Bitcoin right now at cheaper levels, which means a lot of money is sidelined. We also saw that with the ETF pump, right? We get the news, suddenly a lot of money is flowing back into the markets. So it's actually kind of crazy, very crazy situation that we are in right here, because a lot of macro signals are already screaming for quite some time that risk on assets should get a heavy liquidity crisis. But in the end, we can see that Bitcoin is still doing quite good. And the S&P 500 is slightly different, because it's going down. And this is also something that bothers me a little bit, because if you look at the chart from 1987, you can also see that the S&P 500 just went into an uptrend and suddenly dropped, bounced, bam, and dropped. So here we also have like drop, bounce, bam, and a potential drop, because right now the S&P 500 is most likely going to get a retest of this uptrend. And if we were to break this uptrend to the downside, then things can get ugly very quickly. It's always, you always have to be careful when you make these statements, right? So I'm not predicting a market crash right here, but there are a couple of things that look very similar to the situation in 1987. And that is that, first of all, the price action, if you overlay 1987 and 2023, if you overlay these charts, they actually look very similar. And also what we can see right here is that if we put here the interest rates. So guys, let's overlay the interest rates right here on the weekly time frame for the regular financial markets, okay? So this is going to be very interesting. So what we can see, for example, right here, back in the previous time we got the raising of the interest rates, that was right before the March 2020 crash. And that crash occurred right here the moment we actually started to turn over. So the moment this thing started to turn over, we had one last push and then we had a massive correction. And the interest rates that we have right now are at similar highs as the peak of the dot-com bubble, which is kind of crazy. But here's the same thing. The moment we topped out, we still had that last rally. And then when this thing was going down, when the interest rates was going down, and people actually have to become bullish because money is becoming cheap again, the opposite happens. We had a massive correction. This was a big recession, the dot-com crash. Right here we can also see it, guys. interest rates going up, right? Going sideways. The moment it starts to go down, the moment the interest rate starts to go down, that is the moment we are seeing that massive crash. But right now we have a crazy situation because the interest rates have been going up all the time, which basically means that right now a lot of people in our society, they have a problem. There is a high credit card debt. There is a very high problem to get loans and buy new houses. The housing market will definitely face a lot of issues, but generally the interest rates is just an indicator showing us whether a lot of liquidity is coming in or whether a lot of liquidity is being pulled out, right? Because when cheap money is everywhere, money is being thrown at assets, people are taking risk, and we are seeing prices going up. But when money is very difficult to get, people hold on to money, or they can't even hold on because they gotta pay the bills, right? So that is what we are seeing right now, and we definitely, and that is the scary part, we are going to see the effect of this playing out on the stock market, and therefore maybe also playing out on Bitcoin, because then we have to make the connection back to Bitcoin. We know Bitcoin as being connected to the regular financial markets. Does that mean it has to be connected in the future? No, but the structurally has to change something, because the liquidity has to come from somewhere, right? We are used to, when money is being printed, it can go to risk on assets, Bitcoin will go up. Makes sense, right? But what if money is not being printed and the stock market goes down? Like, in which scenario would money and liquidity flow to Bitcoin, and from which market would it flow? Like, if, for example, the oil market would drop and all the oil money would flow in Bitcoin, that would make sense. It has to come from somewhere, right? If the government is not creating money out of thin air to potentially push in risk on assets like Bitcoin, the money has to come from somewhere. And that is the problem. I cannot really see right now where that money should come from. And if you have an answer to that question, let me know in the comment section, because I would be very, very interested in that. And that's just why this part of the cycle is very, very off. We have been taking profits on Bitcoin, like roughly right here. So if we would re-enter the levels right now, there would be a slightly worse entry, but I don't mind. If I see that the probability again is higher to the upside, I don't mind to reinvest, because I will value my portfolio in US dollar terms. And if I can double my portfolio in the next coming months, yeah, hell yeah, why not? But I'm not going to do that yet, because like I said, I still feel things are a little bit off. December time frame is the next 60-day cycle low. So I really would like to see how this is going to play out. If this is going to break out to the upside, we maybe get a December low, we get a retest of this channel. That would be very, very bullish, guys. And we don't have to go that high like here. We can also do like something like this and then get a retest. But at least break above this channel and get somewhat of a retest the next 60-day cycle low. There is a very small chance we are going to see something like Black Monday again, where we just, because the storm, the conditions of the storm are there. There is a lot of problems in the world. We are seeing the wars being developed in the Middle East, right? The interest rates are very high. The Dixie is actually going up, right? The Dixie, we thought it was breaking down. It looks like it's breaking down, but right now it's going up. Maybe this one is going to rally another time to the resistance right here. Who knows? That would definitely come along with a big drop in equities. And so this is something that these are things that I'm all watching, and we are at a very unique situation, and I'm super happy that we actually have this chart, the stablecoin dominance, because this will be the make or break chart for me personally. If I see this thing breaking down, I just don't really see this one breaking back into this channel again. So that tells me, okay, that clearly a macro structure changed and more liquidity will flow into Bitcoin for the coming years ahead, right? For the coming years ahead, definitely. The probability is very, very high for that. So that's why I'm going to use this chart to my advantage. And the advantage also for us right here is that I haven't seen anyone talking about this chart. And sometimes you hear people, yes, stablecoin dominance, yes, but no one is looking at this macro structure. No one is looking at this big rising channel, and that is the power. Because if you look in the shorter term time frame, you can predict some things, that is possible, but the power here is in the macro structure, which right now we're getting squeezed, and before the 14th of November, so before next month, we most likely will have seen a breakout. And will that breakout be to the downside or to the upside? Honestly, guys, I have no clue. And if this thing would break down, Bitcoin will break up, I'm very much happy to jump back into Bitcoin with a less good entry, but also with a less risk, and ride this bull market up, and get new money, get the retail money back, get the views from the channel up, be excited. That is something that I would really love. But I'm also going to be a little bit conservative with all the problems that we are seeing right now, VIX going up, stuff like that, Dixie going up, that we might still come down with Bitcoin, and we don't yet have seen that breakout. So I really want to wait for that change in macro structure, Bitcoin breaking out right here to the upside, stablecoin dominance breaking out to the downside, and then it's the moment that I can go with a peaceful heart back into Bitcoin and saying like, yes, now I see that liquidity most likely will be concentrated again on Bitcoin. Guys, I made an update today over on World Alerts about some altcoins. We've been trading some altcoins right here, which actually have been outperforming Bitcoin. But right now there's an altcoin, a very low cap altcoin, which is making new lows, but that potential of that altcoin is very, very high. So I've shared that altcoin over on World Alerts, and if you want to get that information too, you can join our private Telegram channel by joining one of these exchanges down below this video. So you can join basically for free, but you gotta be an active trader and signed up to one of these exchanges down below this video under our affiliates. Okay guys, that was it for today's video. If you liked it, make sure to leave a thumbs up, very much appreciated. And I wish every single one of you a beautiful day, and I hope to see every single one of you in the next video.